one more.
Sorry,
Listener was there.
I couldn't really hear you just now because your voice just came
About
then.
one more listener was there. I think that he joined earlier. That I don't know. Mr. Ranjan was there. Now he left now. Are you
Let
getting me?
let me share the screen with you so that
Uh-huh.
you can like have a brief look at what we are like going to do today, because I didn't switch on this mode just now because I was waiting for the time to start. Actually, it's still around 3:28 right now. So usually we start at 3:30, which is like Taipei standard time in IST. I think it should be 1 p.m.
Yes, it's 1 p.m.
Yeah, so that's why I was actually waiting for the time because during
Still
this
five,
time,
five. Mhm.
yes, I usually may create an event like 10 or 15 minutes before the actual class starts, mainly because if someone joins like you earlier, then if there is somebody who wants to discuss about like the previous lecture or whatever thing there is to discuss, then that time is like dedicated for that kind of scenario. So that's why I usually try to create an event like 10 to 15 minutes early. Yes.
Yes, yes.
So the time is approaching. So I think we should be able to start the class right now. So the main points that we are going to discuss in our class today will be about social interactions and some small talk that may take place, especially in a Chinese speaking environment. So this will be our focus today. And just like we discussed before, there are some facts about the uniqueness of like Mandarin as a language because it's a tonal language. It's different compared to English or let's say Hindi or some of the other languages that we may use in our daily life, because the dependence of its meaning, where depending on whatever word or annotation that you may use, actually the high or low pitch can usually change the meaning of the word depending on the context completely. So this is a fundamental part of pronunciation and comprehension, and this is the common triads of any language that belongs to Sino-Tibetan group of languages, which is like Chinese, of course, is also part of it, and you have other languages like you have Tibetan language, you have language like Thai, and you have languages like Cantonese and some of the other languages like Indonesian, Malaysian. These languages are all tonal languages where high or low pitch of a certain sound or annotation can change the entire meaning of the same word if pronounced with like a different high or pitch, high or low pitch or tone. So it really depends on how you use it, and it's very important to understand the differences. Otherwise, it will be difficult to communicate or even trying to make someone understand you in a language that usually uses a lot of different variety of tones. So Mandarin has no verb conjugations or like plurals, making it grammarly, like structurally different from European languages and often simpler in form. But when it comes to usage, it can be a bit complex depending on what kind of scenario you are using it. So next we have some of the expressions that we prefer to use in a small talk, especially when it is about like daily life scenario. We begin with some simple and polite questions like "Ni hao ma," which is like literally it means something else, but context-wise, it is generally used to ask somebody like how is someone doing or something like that. Just like we discussed our this stuff in our previous lessons as well, because ni hao generally means you good, and ma is more like a question particle, which gives somewhat similar meaning to like we have the word word in English. So usually it is asked for asking someone if he is doing well or not. And then we have another sentence and expression here, which is 最近怎么样? 最近 means most recently or recently. Literally, it means like that. And 怎么样 is a complete expression that is often used for like asking about something. It could be something or somebody, even a human being or a non-living thing as well, depending on how you may use it. But generally, as an expression in this kind of scenario, it is often used to address somebody who is like a human being, or like it could be your friend, your colleague, or someone you know very well. So the difference between these two contexts is also being formal and informal in kind of like situation you are in when you are trying to use this kind of expression, because 最近怎么样 is generally used in more of a casual scenario, someone you are quite familiar with, or someone you know for a long time, or you know very well. He could be your friend, your colleague, or your classmate. So this is also a difference between these two expressions when it comes to like some of the minor differences. And literally it means like how have you been doing recently, or something similar to that. So Jin, as I already explained, it is like most recent or recently, something like that. Samayang means how is it here? In short, how is it going, or how is it, something like that. So the second portion that we're going to discuss in this is like showing interest in another person's life with some safe topics, like weather is a very common topic in our daily life. Just like we have an expression here, 今天天气不错. 今天 means today, and 天气 again it means weather, and 不错 is a complete expression which is literally meaning not bad. But in expression like this, it generally sounds something like that, to be very good or very well. So when it comes to literal meaning, sometimes some words or some of the expressions can be a bit confusing, especially if you look at the Mandarin dictionary or something like that to look out. But we often have to make sense of those small components within our sentence in order to get the whole meaning perfectly well. So 今天 meaning today, and 天气 then again for weather, and 不错 to be very well. So then the explanation comes. The weather is like nice today. It means something like that. Or in daily routine, keeping it friendly and not to be too personal at first. So this is a very safe expression to use. And then we have a scenario where we have two people, like person A and person B, talking to each other. And the person A, while trying to address person B, he tries to use the expression uh, 你好, which is for hello. And he then asks 最近怎么样? Like he asks the second person, person B, how he is doing recently, or how he has been recently. So something similar to that. And person B replies and he says 我很好. 我很好 literally means I am very well, or I am doing very well. 很 means to be very or a lot. It is kind of adverb in this kind of scenario, and how means to be good. And 我 is personal pronoun in this context. And then another expression comes in, which is 谢谢, which means thank you. In other sense, it means to thank somebody for like showing his concern and care. And then there is another tricky expression at the end of this context, which is 你呢. And generally, this expression 你呢 is used to replace the same question, but it also depends on the scenario or the particular situation that you have in the sentence one. Just like in sentence one, the person is asking about how that person is doing. So now the second person wants to ask the same question, but he doesn't want to repeat the whole sentence again. So in short, he replaces the whole meaning in a question kind of scenario in a context like this. So in short, it means, and how about you? Or like, what about you? But he doesn't really want to ask again, like, so it's in samayang or something similar to that. That's why he replaces that whole sentence with this kind of question particle, uh, with this kind of scenario to make sure that the other person, because the situation is already understood in this scenario, because someone has already asked a question similar to that. So that's why, in order to avoid that kind of repetition again, he would simply use Nina, this kind of expression. Just like I am asking somebody, like, Ni hao ma? And the person replies to me by saying that, 我很好. But now, uh, the person after replying this, he wants to ask the same question again, but he will not use the same long question kind of scenario again. Rather than that, he would simply say, Nina, and what about yourself? So it is like indirectly asking the same question, but in short wording and in this kind of scenario. So this is the main reason for using this kind of context here. Uh, but there is another point to be noted here, that if we are like using this kind of expression, then it is very important to consider that there must be an event or some kind of scenario prior to using this kind of expression. Only then it is feasible to use this kind of expression, because if there is no context above this whole scenario, then it will not make any sense. So this is very important to understand here. And next we have 我也很好. And now the personal pronoun comes in from person A. He is trying to answer the same question because the situation is understood in this scenario. So he is using personal pronoun as the first component of this expression in which he is trying to answer, and the word 也 means also, because the person before that already said that he's doing very well. So now he's trying to say that I am also doing very well. So that's why the expression of 也 also comes in. And 很好 we already know that it means to be very well or very good. And then the next expression comes in, which is for like 今天天气. 今天, just like we studied before, means today. 天气 then again means weather. 真好, 真好 means to be very good or really good in other sense. 真 means real, and hao means to be good. So now, why he would use an expression like this, there is also a reason behind this, because he's using an expression which contains a question within itself, because he's trying to reaffirm the scenario, and in other sense indirectly asking the other person whether it is as he says or not, because such kind of expression is used in a scenario where someone is not really sure about the situation, because the expression that is being used is 不是吗? Ma is question particle, that's just like we discussed before in our previous lessons, and 不是 means not, or something that kind of shows negativity, sign of negation, who is often used to add a negation kind of effect within a context of or a sentence. So literally, if we are trying to like understand this kind of scenario, it's like saying I am doing very well, whether it's like really good today, is it not? So it is something like that, because 是吗 before that we are using the sign of negation pu here, which is for like negativity or some kind of negative scenario, because the question particle also comes in at the end. So that's why there is a sign of like confusion in this kind of scenario, because the person himself feels that the weather is really good today, but just because he feels that, maybe he's not sure whether it is that good or not. So to reaffirm that kind of scenario, he's indirectly asking this kind of question, is it not, or something like that. So that's why he's using an expression like 不是吗? So if you are not really sure about some kind of situation, even after explaining it by yourself, like saying in your opinion you feel something like this, but then again you are not sure, so only then you are like supposed to use these kind of expressions. And then he gets the answer from person B. The answer is 是啊. And in this expression in this answer, 是 means yes or or an affirmative answer in yes form. And there is another particle which is like a sign of sort of exclamation or something like that, that is used to emphasize something, uh, which is like to emphasize that it is what the other person says, or affirming that that statement is like true. So that's why 是啊 is this kind of expression is like used in answering this kind of question. And then he continues to answer this situation, and then he mentions 这个 and 这 means this, and the particle 个 is again a sort of like quantifier being used in this context because he is mentioning about season. Season in Chinese, it's 季节, which is the next expression that comes after the particle 个. So 季节 is for season. Uh, he's saying that this season, 最 最 means most or among all or something like that. And 舒服 and 舒服, the word 舒服 means to be very comfortable, soothing, or relaxing kind of thing. And the particle 了 comes at the end, which is for an event that is like already done, finished, or something that has already happened. It is usually used for scenarios where the situation is like in a perfect kind of sense that it is already done, or like the activity is already finished or something like that. So now I'm going to repeat this whole sentence again. He replies by saying 是啊，这个季节最舒服了. And 舒服 means to be comfortable or like very soothing, relaxing kind of scenario. And then person A continues to ask, and the person A is asking another question here. So first of all, the word that comes in is ni, and chomo is basically used for like weekend or something like that. Uh, and then we have the expression to, which is for both or all. Some usually it is used to denote a scenario where the sense of that particular scenario is used in a plural sense or something like that. And then the word 做 comes in, which is for like to do something, to do or to make something. And particle the again being used here, which is showing some kind of like sign of perfection, or for an activity that is like done in a perfect way, or like it's finished or already gone or something like that. And then we have the uh, particle sanma, which is for like question particle. Usually that is used to ask some kind of question or like showing some kind of doubts in a certain situation. So first of all, in order to understand this particular sentence in a perfect way, we have to break it down in several parts in order to make sure that we can understand each of these words independently, individually, in a perfect manner. So ni is for like you, and chomo is for like weekend, or usually it is used to denote weekend. And though both or all kind of scenario, in this sense, it is used slightly different. And then so to do or to make, to do some kind of activity, it all can also mean to make some kind of activity or do some kind of activity or something like that. And the is being used just because the person assumes that that particular activity is like being done already. So it's not like in the current working process or something like that. And summer is like what or whatever activity that is being done. So basically he's trying to ask that uh, in this weekend, like during this weekend, what have you done, or what were like the activities, or like what were the like the tasks that you have done so far during this particular weekend. So that's why he asked the question like 你周末都做了什么? which literally means that what have you done so far during this particular weekend? And it can be any activity actually, because in this sentence, it is not really denoted, or like it's not really concrete to say that there is a certain element of a particular activity here, because it's a general question. So there is no indication of like a particular activity, because the person himself doesn't know very well. So that's why he's trying to ask a question regarding that. So the answer comes in from person B. He says, 我去了公园散步. Now we will start from the first sentence. 我 means I, 去 means to go. It's a verb, and le again comes in because the that particular task and that particular activity, it's already done. So just like I mentioned before, the particle le is sign of perfection. In other sense, it is usually used for those kind of activities and events that are like already done, or someone is like already done doing that kind of activity or whatever task that is like being done. And 公园 is for like generally used for park, and sambu means uh, to go for like walk stepping or something like that, like you are going for a daily walk, which can be for like relaxing yourself, or either like in doing an exercise kind of activity in a way like that is also like possible. So it really depends on how you explain it or how you want to express it. So basically, the first sentence is 我去了公园散步. So I went to the park for a walk. So this is what the person is trying to say here. And then because the sentence itself is not like finished here, so he's using the conjunction high. High means still here, which is using the second tone here. 还看了, kan means to watch, and as you can see, after that verb 看, which means to watch, le particle is again being used in a combination here, because it denotes that some kind of action is already done. So that's why particle le is also in place here in this sentence. And then we have quantity, which is e, which is for one, and the quantifier pu, which is used usually for movies. And the word 电影 is for movies here, or it is particularly used for movie. So basically, he's trying to say that I went to park for walk, and I also watched a movie. Uh, so that's why the expression high is used as like still or other than that, because it is being used as a conjunction here, and he's trying to say that I went to park for a walk and I also watched a movie. 还看了一部电影. 一部 means one. 部 is like the quantifier here, and e being the quantity here, because he's mentioning that he watched a movie, which is like one movie. And 看了 means watched, and 电影 is again movie. And after that, we have the ending sentence here, which is like 很放松. 放松 means some kind of thing or activity that is like making you feel very relaxed, or very relaxing, or giving you sort of like very relaxing kind of feeling. So 很 is very, being used as an adverb here, and 放松 again denotes that it's an activity that is like giving you a lot of pleasure when it comes to like relaxing yourself or feeling relaxed or something like that. Now we have some short expressions within this slide, which is like very nice to have for your general understanding in daily life. First sentence is like, have you eaten? This kind of expression in Chinese, usually in shorter form, we express it like 吃了吗?吃了吗, which is for like, have you eaten? 吃 means to eat. Le again, something that is assumed to be done already, or like already finished or something like that. And ma is again a question particle here. And then we have the next expression, which is like, I have not eaten, 我还没吃. Hai, the word here, again being used in a different scenario here, because it is now being used as a meaning of like still or something similar to that. So it says more like, I still haven't eaten yet. So 我还没吃. 我 again personal pronoun here. 还 means still. 没 is like a sign of negation here, because it is usually used to denote some sort of negativity in a particular sentence, something that you haven't done, or like something that you haven't really done doing, or something like that. So 吃 is generally used to denote the word for eating something. So 我还没吃 means I still haven't eaten. And then you have the next expression, and you, which we already studied here in our like the whole conversation that we studied before, which is Nina, which is for and you. Just like I said, that normally we use this kind of scenario or this kind of expression only if the situation prior to asking this kind of question is totally understood, and both the parties uh, do understand the situation very well. Only then this kind of expression is used to replace a certain question that is being asked in order to avoid certain form of repetition, just like we discussed earlier. So other than that, we have 你叫什么名字? 叫 means to call or to be called.
Sir, would you please listen to me? Pardon, sir.
Okay, sure.
Sir, actually, sir, I just visited this once, sir. Actually, I want to go through the language. Is it clear, sir? Sir, I am not actually a student of a Chinese. Okay, but still I got whatever you said. But there were so many subscribers for that. I am not being a student of a Chinese, but just understood a lot whatever you told. But actually, just I wanted to go through a little bit that what kind of the Chinese is there. So particularly, that's what my intention was, that I came across that it's a good. But I'm not. So that's why, and there is no other listeners are there, and audience is there. There is no one is there, sir. Nobody has watched for this.
Uh, I am not really sure about that kind of thing, because I was told back then that usually the class is recorded and there are some listeners around here and there, but some people are not really able to like accommodate their time accordingly, so they listen to recording and then they keep up like this. So what they told me back then is to like make sure that I am on time for my
No, this
class.
is there.
Yes. So
You are
this is
bound to do that. No, this is there, sir.
yes. So I try
But
to do my stuff, and I try to like connect
yes, sir.
myself with the learners.
Okay.
It would be very nice, of course, if there are like more people around, because in that way I will be able to understand like what are the queries there, and if someone wants to
Uh,
understand something better, obviously that's why
that
we come here.
if that time interaction happens, that one can understand a lot. If anywhere confusion arises or doubt arises, then
Yes.
they can make it clear, bring it a foreign language. And I don't think that it is a sort of English is there. It is totally a different is there. Pronunciation also. Na?
Yes,
But
definitely.
thank.
I have to change pronunciation, especially when I switch to Chinese as well. So definitely I have to keep that in mind as well. And for a learner, of course, it is very important to go through all those minor details. And the reason why I spend a lot of time in explaining a single word or a certain expression is because only that way the other person will be able to understand
Yeah,
its usage
they'll be
very
able to
well.
understand. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Otherwise, if I am just reading the script, then it's a totally different
It's not
scenario.
not is not any use of that. Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. I will have to leave, but you can
Okay.
continue some for a recording. Okay, and
Okay,
have
no
a good
problem.
have a good time. Okay, enjoy it.
Okay.
You
Thank
can
you.
carry it. Okay, okay.
Thank you. So we will be continuing from where we left just a while ago. So 你叫什么名字 literally means you are called what name or what is your name in other sense. So Chao it means to call or to be called or something like that. And Sama again the question particle here in this particular sentence and Mingzi is for name. And Ni we already know it means you in other sense. So 你叫什么名字 means what is your name or you are known by what name or you are called by what name in other sense. And then when we want to like answer this kind of question or like this kind of expression, usually we use the expression 我叫 and then after that our name comes in. Like in my case, in my scenario, if I am trying to express this kind of sentence, I would simply say 我叫 Faraz or like whatever my name is. You can replace this expression uh, with like your own name or whatever name you want to use. So that is like the perfect way to use it. And then we have the next expression, which is 你从哪儿来?你从哪儿来?你 again means you. 从 means uh, from or something like that. Nar means where. It is also pronounced as na, and it is also pronounced as nar, depending on which kind of like Chinese dialectual pronunciation that you are planning to use. So depending on a certain area, it can differ. That's why I try to use both expressions so that you guys can understand very well. Lai means to come. And the whole expression is 你从哪儿来 means where are you from or where do you come from in other sense. So this is more of a direct expression. There are some other expressions that are like used for this kind of expression too. But this is one of them. And then we have the expression how much is it? Another sense asking for money or regarding like the price stuff and things, especially in daily life or like daily life situations. Like 多少钱?多少 means how much and 钱 means money. Or you could say it literally means money, but in a daily life scenario, it could also mean like how much cash or how much funds or anything like that as well. But usually it is used for like how much money, like you are trying to buy something and then you are using this kind of expression in order to ask for the price. So 多少钱?多少钱 means how much money or how much is it. And then there is a common expression which is used for like long time no see or used to express when you haven't seen somebody like for a very, very long time. So in order to use this kind of expression, we normally use uh, this kind of expression in that scenario, which is 好久不见. How means a lot or very in this sense or particular scenario. Generally, it means to be good. But in this scenario, because how as another alternative meaning as well, which is for very or very much, and 久 means to be old or some scenario where too much time has passed. And then we have the sign of negation here, which is po. Po is generally used for like not or not being able to. Qian is generally used for the expression like to see or to watch. But but here it means see. So 好久不见 means haven't been able to like see somebody for a very long time or something similar to that. So 好久不见 generally means long time no see. And then we have the other expression, which is really? Is that so? Or something similar to that. I mean, this kind of expression is generally used in this kind of scenario. So how it is pronounced? It is pronounced like Chandama. Chan means to be real. And Chanda is like a complete expression here, which is for like really or something like that. And then we have a question particle ma at the end of this expression to make sure that it adds the total meaning of a question here. So Chandama means is it really like that, or is it that so, or something like that. So then we have the last expression here in this slide, which is for wait a minute, which is for generally asking someone to wait for a while or wait for a minute. Generally, literally, it will mean wait for a moment or wait for a while, but it can also be used to express like wait for a minute or something like that. So we'll pronounce it like 等一下. 一下 means for a moment, and 等 means to wait, or an expression that is used to express wait or like waiting kind of scenario. So 等一下 means wait a minute or wait for a moment. So this slide is like totally complete. Now we can finally move on to the next slide. So in our next slide, we are discussing about like how to discuss weather casually in Mandarin. You can start with simple or like polite phrases. And Mandarin speakers often use weather as a neutral and friendly way to begin conversations, especially with people they don't know very well. So it is also like common in daily chats and among colleagues or neighbors. So here are some key expressions we have here. 今天天气很好. The weather is very nice today. Just like we studied before regarding the weather expression 天气 and 很好 means to be very good. And then we have the next expression here, which is 今天天气怎么样?怎么样 to be how is it? So how is the weather today? In other sense, you are asking about how the weather is today. You would use the expression 今天天气怎么样? Something like this. And then we have the expression 下雨了.下 to fall or under or down, something like that. This is what the word sha generally means. And yu is for rain. And le, again, showing some kind of perfection here in this scenario, that is some kind of event that is like already done. So 下雨了 means it's raining or it rained. And then again we have the next expression here, 别忘了. 别 is also sign of negation here. With the word expression 忘 means which to forget. 别 means don't here. 忘 means forget. Uh, and the reason why this expression is being used here is that the person is trying to say that it is raining, so don't forget. And there is an item after this expression which is uh, san is actually for umbrella. So he's trying to say that 别忘了带伞, and 带 means to take or to carry something, and 伞 is for umbrella. So 别忘了带伞 means don't forget to take your umbrella because it is raining. So I'm going to repeat the whole sentence again now. 下雨了，别忘了带伞. So 别忘了带伞.带伞 it means to take umbrella. 别忘了 don't forget. So don't forget to take umbrella in other sense. And then we have the next expression which is 明天. Just like we studied 今天 today, 今天 is for today and 明天 is for tomorrow. So 明天 is for tomorrow. 会 the expression 会 generally means will or can or something like that in a scenario. 很 again that means very or a lot. 冷 means to be cold. So the total expression or the whole expression is 明天会很冷 means tomorrow it will be very cold or tomorrow will be extremely cold. In other sense, the weather will be very cold tomorrow. In this particular sentence, we don't have the expression of tianqi, which is for weather. But still, even without using that weather word here, we are still trying to express almost the same kind of scenario or situation here. So 明天会很冷. So tomorrow will be very cold. And then we have the next expression, which is 最近 天气变化很大。最近 then again means most recent or recently. 天气 means weather. 变化 means change. Change in what thing? In weather, because weather is being discussed in this particular scenario. So that's why it is directly related to that particular word of weather here in this scenario. 很大 means to be very big. 很 means very, and big, the expression for big is 大. So 最近天气变化很大 means okay, the weather has been changing a lot lately, or there is a massive change in the weather recently. So this is what he is trying to express in this particular sentence. So after discussing these all expressions, I'm going to repeat them once again for better understanding. 今天天气很好. The weather is very nice today. 今天天气怎么样? How is the weather today? And then 下雨了，别忘了带伞。下雨了，别忘了带伞。So it's raining. Don't forget to take your umbrella. 明天会很冷. Tomorrow will be very cold. 最近天气变化很大. The weather has been changing a lot recently or lately. So now let's move on to the next slide, which is about discussing or talking about hobbies. It's a great way to connect with others and share your own personal interests in Mandarin as well. So you can ask about someone's hobbies or even describe your own using some simple sentence patterns and some common verbs uh, that will help you express your own hobbies. So here are some of the simple useful expressions that you may need to express these kind of feelings or scenarios. So 你有什么爱好? 爱好 means hobbies or like interests or something like that. 有 means to have. 什么 again is a question particle here. So 你有什么爱好 literally means you have what? Hobbies. But generally, in a more meaningful way, it means what are your hobbies? 你有什么爱好? What are your hobbies? And then the answer comes in regarding this particular expression. The person says, 我的爱好是看书. 我的爱好是看书. And the particle of possession is being used after the personal pronoun 我 here, which is the 我的爱好 means my hobby or my hobbies, depending on the quantity. But in this particular sentence, we only have one quantity, which is for like 看书, which means to read book. 看 means to read or watch. Here the word 书 is being used, which is for book or books, depending on scenario. So the person says 我的爱好是看书. My hobby is reading book or reading books. And then we have the last expression in this particular slide, which is 我喜欢听音乐和跑步. And this expression means I like listening to music and jogging. So now in order to understand each and everything perfectly well in this particular sentence, we will have to break this sentence part by part in order to understand or make sense out of it. So the first part of this sentence is 我, which is for personal pronoun I being used in this context. And then we have the word 喜欢. 喜欢 means to like or to be fond of something. And then it could be even like living being or even non-living being, depending on the context. So 喜欢, the word 喜欢 can be used for either of those. So do keep this in mind. And 听 means to listen. And 音乐 means music. And then we have the conjunction 和, which is for and here, because he's trying to describe two things here, which is music and jogging. And 跑步 is used for like running or jogging or some kind of similar scenario like that. So if we try to break this into two parts, the word 跑步 means to run, 步 means taking a step. So running and taking a step, in other sense, it's like jogging. So 我喜欢听音乐和 means and here. 我喜欢听音乐和跑步. So I like listening to music and jogging. So now I'm going to repeat some of these sentences for your further understanding, or like in order to make your pronunciation better, or like even you improving your listening or getting used to this kind of scenario. So 你有什么爱好? So what are your hobbies? And then there's an answer. There are two answers actually here. The first one, 我的爱好是看书. My hobby is like reading books. And then we have another answer as an example, which is like 我喜欢听音乐和跑步. So I like listening to music and jogging. So now we will move to the next slide. So about the cultural nuances and these kind of elements, we have some of important points here regarding that. So politeness and formality part, use nin for formal situations and elders, or even for teachers or someone who is like above in status, or like in uh, an element of respect compared to you. It could be someone like elder in age than you, or someone who is uh, like bigger in status than you. It could be anybody. And then we have the word expression like ni, which is for close friends or like peers, which is like most commonly used one in casual conversations and generally used more often. So always greet with the expression ni hao or nin hao when stating a conversation or like entering a room. So this is another way to like address somebody or introducing yourself in other sense. So conversation etiquettes. When it comes to etiquettes, conversations are typically indirect and respectful. Avoid like sensitive or like political topics at first, because some people may not take these kind of scenarios very positively, especially during the first meeting or during the first interaction for the very first time. So pauses or silence in conversation are like normal and can reflect a certain amount of thoughtfulness or like politeness in other sense. So personal space is also important, like privacy and personal space of certain someone is always going to be very important, whether it's about like public place or like or somewhere discussing something in a closed environment. It is always going to be very important. So try your best to maintain modest distance during those interactions. Physical contact is usually limited in public places. Handshakes are common in formal settings. Hugging or touching is like rare unless it's among like close friends or family. So you have to take these certain points in mind while trying to interact with the locals. So these triads are like very important to follow. And now about the role play kind of scenario. My activity for you guys would be to make a small talk in Mandarin with a stranger in your office, like you are assuming someone who is uh, like uh, like a stranger in your own office, and you are trying to like discuss certain something with that person in Mandarin, and discuss your weekend plans and activities with your friend, and then ask some basic questions to your friend to know more about them. So we have already studied like some basic vocabulary in our previous sessions and even in the lesson today. So I think it will be a great homework sort of activity for you guys to try and do some of these kind of activities by using the vocabulary that we have learned so far, and to show how much sentences or like what kind of scenarios you can make on your own by using those vocabulary expressions and those sentences. So that is going to be very important. and this will be the activity as part of your home task. So that's pretty much the end of our lesson today. So if there are like any questions or anything you guys want to know or discuss, you guys can still discuss it with me.